I've spent over 1,000 hours inside Claude, and I use it every single day to build tools, run workflows, and even launch million-dollar companies. And look, you might feel super productive using Claude right now, but what if I told you you're barely scratching the surface? In this video, I'm gonna walk you through every level of Claude user, from the amateur all the way to the one who builds fully autonomous systems that run without lifting a finger. Let's start with level 1, the amateur. See, the amateur treats Claude like a fancy Google search. One question in and a response back, and then they close the tab. There's no memory, there's no projects, Claude has no idea what you're working on, and you're using maybe 5% of what Claude can do. It's like having access to a NASA supercomputer and calculating 2 + 2. So if you're in this level, here are 2 pro tips to help you level up. Number 1, make Claude interview you first. For example, you can tell Claude, before you answer, ask me any questions that you need to perform this task properly. And watch it ask you the questions that provide the context that it needs to give you the best answer. The second thing is you gotta make Claude check its own work. Watch it catch its own mistakes, which is annoying because you think it would do it in the first place, but it will give you a better output. You can use this every day by just saying, check your work. Now, before we go to the next level, we have to stop working from scratch every time. So how do you make Claude have persistent memory? Level 2, the regular. The regular treats Claude like a workspace. They don't just chat with it. They use projects, which is a feature within Claude, for their role. They use it per initiative. They use it per client. They're using it per workflow. And what's cool is Claude finally remembers who they are every time they come back, so the work gets better. And this is how you set them up the right way. So number 1, on the left side, you will see create a new project. Click that. And then name the project, the role you work in. And in this example, we'll just say marketing. Okay, that's your role. Second, we need to build a master prompt for your role. So every time you chat with it, it knows who you are and what you're trying to accomplish. Now, the cool part is you can ask Claude, type this in, interview me to build a master prompt for my role as a marketer. Watch Claude ask you questions, you answer it, and then you get a file. That is your master prompt. And what a master prompt is a file of instructions that tells the AI everything about you, how you like to work, what your team looks like, what tools you use, everything about your role, so that every time it gives you an answer, it can use that information to guide its output. The third is we got to add the file. So now that we have the master prompt, let's go back into the project, add that as a project file. Then any other documents you have within your company, maybe it's sample data, maybe it's examples, maybe it's files, maybe it's processes, put that in the files directory with your master prompt. Now you have a customized space that has memory, that has context, and has your specific workflow for how you like to work. So for example, every time I sit down to create a YouTube video, I have a project folder to help me ideate and give me outlines and strategies. In my files, I gave it everything that it would need. I gave it my voice document, my branding document, my examples of previous scripts that I like. It has everything that it needs to create outlines based on how I've done them in the past. And then I just direct it. And then I hit enter and Claude gives me the outlines. Here's a pro tip. If you want to take projects to another level, do this. Ask the AI to interview you to create a system prompt for a specific workflow that you're trying to create with your chats. The master prompt is like your ingredients. That is everything about you, your context, etc. The system prompt is the recipe, it's the instructions, it's the process. So you probably already have a process, you just never documented it so the AI can interview you so you get that as the output. So once you get that, just copy and paste the system prompt into your custom instructions and watch this thing run like a machine. That way you have the same quality, the same format every friggin' time you use that project. And look, if you want to go even deeper on how to incorporate Claude or any AI into every department within your business, I have my AI company OS, the exact playbook I use to integrate AI into all my businesses, and I'm giving away for free. If you want it, just DM me YouTube OS on Instagram and I'll send it over. So now your projects turn Claude into a workspace, like a desk with a process, and the whole thing's automated. But what about everything else? Think emails, calendars, work you have to do in the browser. Level 3, the integrator. The integrator plugs Claude into the tools where work actually lives. We use Gmail, Calendar, Drive, Slack, Notion. The integrator connects it to Claude, so they stop bouncing around from all these different tools and tabs. Why would I have to go copy and paste an email into Claude when I can just tell Claude to go get the email? The cool part now is that you can build an act inside Claude. The integrator doesn't leave the tool. They do the work in the tool, and then they send the information that the tool created to wherever it has to go. So here's how you operate at the integrator level. Number one, we use connectors, okay? So go through and connect your Gmail, your Drive, your Slack, your Notion, all the systems that you have. It has an ability for you to connect those data systems so that it'll search those places next time you're chatting with it. Two, build visualizations. This is my favorite feature in Claude, is that I can get it to visualize things. I can create graphs, bars, mockups, all inside the chat. And even better, the third is build interactive artifacts. These are like little mini apps that you can have outputs that are clickable and sliders and buttons. And it makes learning or visualizing information or interacting with data so much easier. And here's an advanced move that nobody talks about. You can actually paste text into chat and tell it to put it inside Composer, which is like a Google Doc inside of chat. And then you can edit it and play with it so that it gets the output exactly like you want. My Claude is connected to my Google Drive, to my Slack, to my calendar, to my email. So I tell it all the time, hey, look at my calendar, tell me what I'm missing. Look at my email, tell me what I need to know. I'm the CEO of my company. Scan Slack for the last week and give me CEO level understanding of what's going on across the company. These are things that I run almost on a daily basis, so I'm always on top of it. Now, if you want to level up with a pro tip, install Claude in Chrome. I use this all day long. Oftentimes I'll have a chat, ask me to do something. I say, write the instructions for me. I copy, I paste it into Claude inside of Chrome within some site, and I hit enter and it goes and does my work for me. Now, this is all super cool, but the truth is, Claude's just helping you at this level. The next level, that's where Claude actually does the work for us. Level 4, the operator. The operator, this is where you stop being the doer and you start becoming the director. I consider this the human in the loop, where the operator, you are now setting up tasks that run on their own. You just review things and you approve it. This is where you stop using Claude and you start deploying it to solve problems for you. And these are 3 ways any operator can deploy Claude to do work for them. So number 1 is system prompts. Essentially, you want to have Claude interview you to create these system prompts for any type of output. So I believe that the future of intellectual property and what makes teams or companies valuable is that they have system prompts defined for the things they create. Level 2 is skills. You will notice over time, as you keep doing these things, these workflows, you can actually save them as skills. Claude has a bunch of skills that you can install. They've created hundreds, everything from financial skills and marketing skills, etc. But you might have some proprietary things you do inside your company. If so, you want to create a slash, name it and run it, and then make it a skill. My rule is if I'm doing it more than 3 times a week, I might as well have it as a skill. For example, I'm always wondering what's going on within my company. So I created a company status skill that analyzes all the analytics and the metrics and the reports and everybody's updates, and then gives me a cute, concise little update on the company as it is today. So I just type / company status and it does it every time. Third is scheduling cowork tasks. Now, if you haven't heard of Cowork, that's an app that runs on your computer and it can literally take over your computer. So you can get it to run a job like migrate from this system to another system, hit enter, go have dinner, come back and watch it get done. So what a great operator does is he looks at his system prompts and he looks at his skills and he goes, hey, are these repeatable outputs that I can schedule in Cowork to have it done every day? So for example, every night I get a message at 8 o'clock that shows me my following day, and it looks at my emails and my calendar and lets me know everything I need to do as if I had a chief of staff, and I do, and she's awesome, but I set it up because I don't need her to do it. Then I know what tomorrow is gonna hold, so if I have to make any last minute changes, I can do it. I set it up once and it runs it every night and I never have to think about it. The operator realizes with AI, they direct the work. They don't just do it. Now, this is a massive pro tip and it's called chaining your skills. So for example, you might have a copywriting skill that writes in your voice, and then you're writing emails, which is also its own skill, and it'll use the copywriting skill. And those 2 skills might be called in a completely different skill that's all about automating your inbox. And those skills are like separately packaged little genius agents that all chain together to create an outcome. The whole pipeline is chained skills. The operator is now really using AI. So schedules and skills, those automate with your existing tools and connectors. But what if the tool doesn't exist yet? Level 5, the builder. Not too long ago, we shut down the company for 2 days. We held an AI hackathon. We taught everybody how to code. In those 2 days, everybody on the team became builders. Essentially, what you can do is use Claude to write code, build custom apps, dashboards, internal tools, all inside of Claude Code. Now Claude isn't just answering questions anymore or setting up skills, it's literally shipping software. In this level, we're introducing a new level of Claude called Claude Code. And just so you know, if you're in this level already, you're in the 0.04% of the population. Most people don't know this. Inside Claude Code, you can use 3 categories of building. The first one I called loops. These are reoccurring jobs that do work. They're similar to cowork, but they run inside of a server and they can talk to other agents, they can talk to other systems, they can use other APIs, and they're way more advanced, but they're loops because they're always running. Number 2 is tools. These are things you build for one-off situations. So you might build a tool for a project. You might build a tool to help you accomplish something. It's not gonna be something you're gonna do forever, and that's why I consider them disposable. The third level is apps. I'm talking real software. Everybody that was involved in that hackathon I talked about built real working production software. For example, I have this incredible person named Betty. She's my house manager. She manages our lives for my wife and I. She built a system that manages all of our workflows, every aspect of my personal life, the cars, the real estate, the investments, the budgets, everything. And she's not a programmer. In the world of AI, English is the new programming language. Now, if you want a pro tip, 100% of the time before I build anything, I use a feature called plan mode. Essentially, you hit /plan, enter, and then you just dump your idea. It hears everything you said, and then it will ask you questions if it needs, and then write a whole completed plan that you approve first before it writes any code. The reason why plan mode is so important is because people are always complaining, oh my gosh, Dan, it costs so much to do all these AI apps now. It's because they didn't plan up front. If you do this, it'll save you a ton of money. And another pro tip plus is Claude Code Remote. And I use this every time I leave my laptop. Where in your terminal window where you're writing code, you can say /remote control and it will connect to your Claude app on your phone. It keeps writing code. And I did this 3 or 4 times while I'm mountain biking on my phone, I'm writing code. And that is how I got this, because I took a berm and my front tire washed out. Now we just talked about how you build tools, but what if we could learn how to build team members? Level 6, the agent orchestrator. The orchestrator is the agent you design that actually runs something. So now it's a loop that keeps running a department, a process, a workflow, and you're no longer involved because you took all these pieces we just talked about and you plugged it into the Claude agent. Now you're the human on the loop, not the human in the loop. Claude stops being just the tool and it now becomes infrastructure. Now there's a million ways to build an agent, but instead of telling you how to build just one, I want to give you a framework to teach you how to think about building agents. First, you have to start with one main agent. This is your agent. It could be your chief of staff agent, it could be your admin agent. I've got a CEO agent. This is your orchestrator. Mine is called Kai. He doesn't do anything really, he just directs the other agents. I know this is crazy. Next, you have to go and create specialized sub-agents, and each sub-agent owns a workflow. Your main agent communicates with the sub-agents and tells them what to do. The third is you connect your Telegram to talk to your agent through your phone. Reese is my real estate agent. He finds deals of investments that I can do. And Kai checks in with Reese every day and reports back to me because he does that with all my agents. All done without me having to do anything. The agents think, they decide, they execute within the parameters. See, we're building the machine that runs the machine. Your main agent is that machine. Now, I use my own platform called Apex, so you can go check it out at apex.host, but you can use Claude to do this. Actually, behind Apex, we use Claude as the main agent model. Apex just makes it more secure and way easier to interact with it. Now, here's a pro tip. I have a critique agent that my main agent will ask to go and review things like copywriting or research or anything so that it's done right. It creates a list of notes to make it better, gives it back to the agent, it runs it again, so I always get the best output. So now do you see how I'm no longer involved in the work? I'm the human on the loop. My partnership with the AI allows me to do way more than if I was having to sit there and process information through a pipeline. And you can do this too. Most people are just collecting Claude features. They're like, oh, I use that, I use this, but they don't actually make it part of their habits. So here's what I need you to do. Choose one of these features and make a commitment to do 30 days in a row of using it. Maybe it's a Claude browser extension. Maybe it's advanced and say, okay, every day I'm gonna work on an agent. I don't know what it is for you. Leave a comment below and let me know what you're committed to. And remember, if you want my AI Company OS playbook, the same one I use in all of my businesses, just DM me YouTube OS on Instagram and I'll send it right over. And if you want to know the 6 most profitable AI businesses to start, click here and I'll see you on the other side.